In the name of the Father and Son and Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. As we stopped in the second part of studying the Epistle of Jude, we stopped at verse 11, and we said St. Jude used in his epistle to give three examples each. He gives three examples from verse 5, 6, and 7 to show the ungodly people how God judged those people in the past. Then he gave three exact sins that the ungodly people doing in the church in verse 8. Then in verse 11 he also giving three examples. So in verse 11 he said, "Woe to them, for they have gone in the way of Cain." They have gone in the way of Cain. What Cain has done? In the first epistle of St. John, he said, he gave a question. He said, why Cain killed his brother? Then he gives the reason. He said, because his deeds were evil. So he applying the same manner, the same behavior, the same evil deeds of Cain on those ungodly people. He said, in verse 11 he said, "Woe to them, for they have gone in a way of Cain." They have gone in a way of Cain. Have run greedily in the error of Balaam for profit. In other translation or in the Greek text he said, for pay, for wage. So, and actually St. Jude in his letter is different than St. Paul. St. Paul most of the time he cited verses from the Old Testament. But St. Jude he just gives stories. He gives the title of his stories. He didn't give exact reference here in starting from verse 5 until verse 11. He's just giving stories, the disbelief of the people of Israel when God delivers them out of Egypt, or the angels when they fall down, or Sodom and Gomorrah. And here he's talking also about Cain, but he didn't say exactly a verse, but he's saying that as Cain behaved according to his evil deeds, the same ungodly people also do that in the church. So he said, "Woe to them, for they have gone in a way of Cain, have run greedily in the error of Balaam for profit." Balaam wasn't a prophet among the people of Israel. He was a Gentile prophet. But God speaks on his mouth to proclaim to the nations that the God of the people of Israel is the mighty God. He will deliver them. He will bless them. Every time Balaam tried to curse the nation of Israel, he couldn't do that. And this mentioned, his story mentioned in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, 23, and 24. And also in Deuteronomy, chapter 22. To complete the whole story, we need to see what it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, to see the exact thing, or the exact way that how Balaam advised the king of the Moabite how to offend the people of Israel by getting them to worship their idols and to get married to the Moabite woman. And he took money from the king, and according to that he gave him this advice to let their God, the God of the nation of Israel, to punish them, because he couldn't curse them. God every time he blessed his people on his mouth. So later, because Balaam, out of greed, he wanted to take the money, he advised the king that the only way to let their God punish them is to let them to marry our girls and to worship our idols. If they do that, their God will punish them. We don't need to curse them, but God will do this to them. And the third example, he says the rebellion of Korah, and how God punished Korah and all his followers. The sin of Cain was jealousy. The sin of Balaam was greed. He wants money. The sin of Korah is, I want to be the first. I want to be the first. Korah and his followers, they said, we are from Levi tribe. Why only Aaron to be priest? Why only Aaron and his sons to be priests? We can be priests too. We can raise incense before the Lord. Out of this jealous and out of this pride, and they want to be the first. They want to be above everyone else. Because of this, God person, the earth opened and swallowed all of them. He and his followers and their households. So he gives them 3 examples and said, woe to them, because they have gone in the way of Cain, and in the way of Balaam, and in the way of Korah. Woe to them, those ungodly people. Then verse 12, he describes them that they are nothing. They think of themselves that they can do everything. They can destroy everybody in the church. They can divide the church. They can be the first. They have the first seat in the church. They thought of themselves that they are mighty people. In verse 12 he said, these are spots in your love feasts, while they feast with you without fear, serving only themselves. They are clouds without water, carried about by the winds, late autumn trees without fruit, twice dead, pulled up by the roots. They are nothing. This verse, St. Jude wants to say they are nothing. But watch what he said in the beginning of this verse. He said, these are spots in your love feasts. The word spots in other translation and actually in the Greek text, as in New King James here, he has a reference for verse 12, and he says that they are hidden reefs. They are hidden reefs. They are stumble blocks in your way. They are rocks at the surface of the sea. When you go to the sea and you have these rocks, the reef, these hidden reefs, you stumble and you fall down. So they come to your loving feast, and they used in the first century to have the meal together, and also they have the communion, they have the body and the blood together. So they called this meal together a loving feast. They were there. They were there, sitting with them around the table. But they are hidden reefs. They are hidden offense people. They are among them, not out of love, but to divide the group. They are there to take the first place. They are there to fulfill all their lust and do all what they want. That's why he said they are hidden reefs in your love feasts, while they feast with you without fear of God, without honesty, without sincere love. They feast with you, they eat with you, but they don't have the spirit that you do have. Then he said they are like clouds. The clouds is for rain, but they just clouds. They have nothing. They have nothing to do. Then he said that they are also like the tree. When you look at a tree as the fall season, what you find? You find the leaves fall down and the tree without any leaves, without any fruits. He said they are like this. Don't think of them that they are powerful people. They are mighty people. They can destroy the church. They can do whatever they want. No, they are like the trees at the fall season. They have no fruits. And he ends saying that twice dead, pulled up by the roots. Twice dead, he wants to say that they utterly dead. They are pulled out from their roots. God will judge them. They will not stay there forever. God will judge them. And one day they will be twice dead. Don't think of them that they are there forever and they will be revered over the godly people. No, this will not happen. That's why in verse 12, if we want to summarize this verse, St. Jude wants to say, those ungodly people, they are nothing. They have nothing to do. In verse 13 he said, raging waves of the sea, foaming up their own shame. You see the waves, when it comes to the surface, when it comes to the shore, it comes with foam. And he have an analogy between those people and the sea and its waves. First of all, they are like the sea. They are up and down. They are up and down, like the waves, but up and down. But in the meantime, when it comes to the shore, the waves come with foam. But when they come to the shore, they come with their shame, with their evil deeds that they are doing. That's why he said that they are raging waves of the sea, foaming up their own shame. Wandering stars, for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. Wandering stars, they fell down from the heaven because they have no position. They are not in any galaxy. They are not in any system. Wandering stars. Their ends already there. That's why they are stars, but they cannot stay any longer. They are wandering star. They will fall down. And as he said that, the same exact will happen to them. They are preserved to the blackness of darkness forever. Actually, just one word you notice in this epistle that St. Jude says the word keep or reserve many times here in this epistle, and he has different meaning for each time he mentions this word. I will not go in details about this, but just give you an idea when you read any epistle to know how or what's the language of the author. Usually the author has main words he uses to express himself. One of the words for St. Jude in his epistle is the word to keep or guard or reserve. In verse 14, it's a very interesting verse. He said, now Enoch, the seventh from Adam. And when we look at Genesis, we see the name of Enoch is the seventh from Adam, prophesied about this man, also saying, behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment on all, to convict all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have committed in an ungodly way, and of all harsh things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. I said it's an interesting verse because it's not in the Old Testament. We don't have a book of Enoch in the Old Testament. There is no book of Enoch in the Old Testament. But it is one of the Apocryphal book. And this verse is there. So I believe that this Apocryphal book was well known to Jude and to his audience, as he's giving a reference here now from the book of Enoch. He said he prophesied about this man. So when he say Enoch prophesied, if they don't know this book, how is he going to accept these verses? For us, because it's not a part of the Bible, Old and New Testament, so we need to search and see from where Jude got this prophecy. But as I'm telling you that it is one of the Apocryphal book, and it's known that it's the book of Enoch, and actually it's the first book of Enoch, and these verses are there. He's saying that God will come with his thousand of saints, the day of judgment, the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. He's coming with his thousand of saints to execute judgment on all, to condemn all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds. So he's talking here about there is a day of judgment, and God is coming with his saints. You can look at the word saints here as his angels, or his saints as we all will be caught up with him in the clouds. So God coming with the angels, and God will take us with him. So you can see the verse saints here means angels, and also us as believers, as godly people, we all will be with him in the cloud. God come, or the Lord comes with thousands of saints to execute judgment and all, to convict all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have committed. As I told you, Jude said, those people, they are dreamers. They don't think of the day of judgment. They think that they are away from this. They think they are away of this. That's why he said, remember this prophecy in the book of Enoch, and how God is coming with all his sins, and he will judge all those ungodly people for their ungodly deeds they have committed in an ungodly way, and of all the harsh things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So he will judge them for their deeds, for their action, and also he will judge them for their sayings, for what they said against God. For what they said against God, he will judge them. That's why he said at the end, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Him here is third person, but it means the Lord. Against the Lord, against God. He will judge them for their ungodly deeds they have committed, and he will judge them for all what they have said against him. In verse 16, just to end this part, that which is the body of the theme. The theme that he said, I will not talk to you about salvation as he started in the beginning, but I will exhort you because there are ungodly people try to corrupt the church, divide the church, and I'm going to warn them. That's why he starts from verse 3, giving this title or giving this reason for the epistle, and from verse 5 to verse 16, the body of the theme. And he gave proofs that the same God who judged the people in the Old Testament, he will judge them, giving them examples, characters like Cain, Balaam, Korah. And he said, you are exactly doing the same thing. The last verse in this body of the theme is verse 16. In verse 16 it says, these are grumblers, complainers, walking according to their own lust, and they mouth great swelling words, flattering people to gain advantage. From outside, they look very nice people. From outside, they say very nice words. And the simple people, the innocent people, the naive people among the believers, they will believe them. They will believe them because they're looking at them, they are nice with us. What's wrong with them? Why you're telling us that they are ungodly people? They are flattering. They are saying something from outside, but inside is different. That's why he said, I'm going to exhort you in two ways. He exhorts them as telling the godly people what kind of judgment those ungodly people will be condemned and be judged, and in the meantime he's going to exhort them from verse 17. So the coming part will talk about how he exhorts the godly people. Glory be to God forever.